Okay, what's your name and what's your role at the club?
Jon Urry, otherwise known as JR, Life Vice President.
And how long have you been at the club for?
August of 1994.
What roles at the club did you do before becoming vice president?
Youth team physio, reserve team physio, first team physio, first team kit man, changing room cleaner, toilet cleaner, general dog's body, checker of the boiler on Saturdays, loader of coaches.
I said 15 seconds, you're in 45. So we're playing Halifax Town on Saturday. We played them famously in the FA Trophy in 2004.
We did.
What can you recall of that trip and the lead up to it?
Not knowing who we would be playing until Thursday night, because Halifax had a replay at Staines Town, which had been off a couple of times. They won at Staines in extra time. We found out on the Friday morning. We were all getting on the coach at Maidenhead to go to stay in Halifax on the Friday night prior to the game. We stayed at the Holiday Inn just outside Halifax. Very pleasant it was too.
What can you remember about the hotel and what happened? There weren't very many overnighters in those days. The players enjoy it?
Players enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it. It was a very nice, pleasant hotel.
Was that the first time you'd ever done an overnighter?
No, I'd previously done an overnight at the Blythe Spartans.
Okay, so very rare in those days to do an overnighter.
Extremely rare.
So what help did you have around the game? Who was helping you with kit and all the various stuff?
Paul Lagerman, who was then the physio, wasn't available that day, so I was the physio and the kit man.
Okay, interesting, didn't know that.
So we took the kit off the coach and we put it into one of the supporters who was staying in the same hotel. We piled all the kit
Into their room?
into his polo car. And we drove down to Halifax to the ground and he helped me in with it.
This is the Saturday morning?
This is Saturday morning, so we got to the ground at about 12 o'clock. Took all the kit out of this car. I set up the changing room, which was vastly bigger than any other changing room we'd ever been to, and vastly bigger than the current Halifax changing room. So I set everything up. The players then came rushing in at about 1 to 2 because the coach was late leaving the hotel because
Why?
certain members of the committee had to queue up and pay their bar bills. The coach then set off into the town and got lost. Eventually they found their way to the ground. And
we got the team sheet in just in time then?
We got the team sheet in time.
Yeah.
I got the dugout sorted out in time. Jon Urry and Phil Gray, the management team at the time, calmed everyone down in the change room. We went out for the warm-up. I walked out. And in those days I still smoked the occasional cigarette. I was then introduced to the Halifax team doctor, who pulled out his pipe and borrowed my cigarette lighter, and the pair of us stood happily chatting about football and medical matters.
On the touchline? On
the touchline, with him puffing his pipe and me smoking a cigarette and trying to calm my nerves down before the game. Game started after about 12 minutes. Lawrence Yaku flicked a header into the path of Steve Hale, and from 30 yards with a right foot drive, Steve hit it across the keeper, and it just bounced just inside the 6-yard box out of the outstretched hand, and we were 1 up.
What went on from there then?
Well, we battled through. About 10 minutes before half time, Brian Connor got caught in the box in our penalty area, conceded a penalty, which Phil Wilson guessed and went the right way and stopped. So we went into the second half, and still hanging on desperately. Phil Wilson was absolutely superb in goal, clearances off the line. Brian Connor as captain, probably the best game I ever saw Brian play. Andy Jennings alongside him, otherwise known to our supporters as Sir. He'd rushed up on the Saturday morning because he was a schoolmaster at Eton College. Alongside him was Andy Dugdale. It was Andy's first game for the club.
And we got a second goal towards the end, didn't we?
Second goal in the 89th minute.
You remember that goal?
Vividly.
Go on.
Absolutely vividly. By this point, I couldn't even sit still in the dugout. I stood up and walked on to speak to the doctor. Politely asked if he had any spare hearts in his bag, and he laughed and he said, "Nay, lad, you'll be fine. Look." And I turned around and looked. Lawrence Yaku's running onto a through ball. Their defenders have stopped, arms up. Unlike the Arsenal back four, they didn't time it right. Lawrence ran towards the goal. The goalkeeper came to meet him. Lawrence tapped the ball to the goalkeeper's right, to his left, ran after it, turned, and with his right foot drove the ball flat along the ground into the back of the net.
We've won the game.
2-0. Lawrence's goal celebrations were to run along the goal line, doing handsprings
In front of the away
in front
supporters?
of the
Home
supporters.
Yeah.
And all these Yorkshiremen with their flat caps, chatting about their whippets.
Not happy.
Saw the sign of Lawrence sprinting along the goal line, doing handsprings, 1 over, 2 over, third one, spun twice in the air, down on his feet in front of the crowd.
But that went down well.
I don't think they'd ever seen a goal celebration like it. They
No.
applauded. At that point, all the Halifax supporters turned and left the ground.
Left and at once. And the
Maidenhead
Halifax...
supporters at the other end, happily singing, "We're just a pub team from Berkshire," followed by, "We can see you sneaking out."
And the Halifax manager that day, he went on to better things, with all due respect to Halifax. He went on to manage in the Premier League.
He did.
He wasn't happy, was he?
He was not a happy bunny. He said it was his worst ever result in football.
Yeah, Chris Wilder.
Chris Wilder. He became manager at Oxford United, and then Sheffield United, and then Middlesbrough.
Yeah, great career.
Great career. I cannot remember him shaking hands with anybody. He stormed away.
Not happy.
He was not a happy bunny.
So we play Halifax again on Saturday. You've got fond memories of the FA Trophy. It's a great competition. So what would your message be to the public of Maidenhead? If we beat Halifax, we're in the last 8.
Turn up, support, enjoy it. Occasions like this don't happen that often.
Yeah, get behind us.
Get behind the lads.
And you'll be there as well.
I'll be sat calmly, biting what remains of my fingernails, pulling out what remains of my hair, hoping that we do them again, because this will be the 3rd occasion on which we played Halifax in the trophy.
That's right.
Twice at their ground.
First time here.
First time ever here. 2-0 win in 2004. The most recent win, 4-1, having been 1 down.
Yeah, we were 1 down in the first minute in that game.
1 down in the first minute, 1-1 at half time, 1-4-1.
So we've got previous.
We have previous with these guys.
Yeah.
They also have one of the most outstanding non-league goalkeepers I've ever seen. It's probably worth 10 or 12 points a season to them.
Okay. Well, looks forward to the game then. Bring it on.
Bring them on.